Open a map of the world. Mark every place where large predators still hunt. The African savanna, the Indian forests, the North American mountains, the open ocean. Now mark every place people live. The two maps sit almost perfectly on top of each other. Hundreds of millions of us fall asleep every night inside the hunting range of an animal fully equipped to kill something our size. And almost none of us are eaten. Sharks bite fewer than 100 people a year without being provoked first. Deaths usually stay in the single digits. Wolves share two continents with us and kill vanishingly few. So here's the question. We are slow, soft, and we sleep on the ground. Why are we not food? The answer is not one reason. It is several forces all leaning the same direction. Start with the least romantic explanation. Not teeth, not courage, not luck. Calories. Every hunt is a business decision, and the predator is the one holding the ledger. The animal spends energy, takes a risk, and hopes the payoff covers both. Most hunts fail. A lion misses far more often than it connects. A cheetah burns an enormous amount of fuel in about 20 seconds, and frequently ends up with nothing but a heartbeat over 200 in a bad afternoon. So predators are picky in a very specific way. They are not looking for food, they are looking for cheap food. The old, the young, the sick, the separated. Now price a human. We are lean by prey standards. Awkward shape, not much fat, and we travel in groups that make noise and throw things. Worse, a hunt that goes wrong on a predator is often fatal. A broken jaw or a cracked rib means slow starvation over the following weeks. Attacking something that fights back with objects is a terrible trade. Think about what a predator actually wants. Density, softness, and no resistance. A zebra is hundreds of pounds of muscle wrapped around a nervous system that only knows how to run in a straight line. A person is a fraction of that weight, wrapped around a nervous system that invents traps. But cost is not even the biggest problem. The stranger part is that to a hunting brain, we do not really look like food at all. Predators do not hunt by category, they hunt by pattern. A hunting brain runs a search image, a rough template of what prey looks like, moves like, and smells like. 4 legs, head low, body horizontal. Fleeing sideways in a panic. You break every single part of that template. You stand vertical. Your eyes face forward, which in the animal world is the signature of a hunter, not a meal. And when startled, most people freeze, straighten up, and start making a lot of noise in a low voice. That is why nearly every piece of advice about meeting a large predator comes down to the same 3 things. Stand tall. Stay loud. Do not run. You are not tricking the animal. You are just refusing to complete the picture it is looking for. And that still does not explain the strangest part. Many predators are not merely indifferent to us. They are afraid of us. Roll the clock back 2 million years and that fear looks absurd, because back then we absolutely were on the menu. We have the fossils. One of the most famous is a small skull of an early human relative from South Africa, known as the Taung child. For decades it was read as evidence of a violent little ape. Then researchers took a closer look at the puncture marks around the eye sockets and matched them to the talons and beak of a large bird of prey. That child was not the hunter. That child was carried off. So what changed between then and now? 3 things. Fire, weapons that work at a distance, and groups that stay together after dark. A spear turns a soft animal into a dangerous one. Fire turns night into a wall. Numbers turn one isolated target into a coordinated crowd with tools. Somewhere along that road, the arithmetic flipped. Attacking a human stopped being a meal and started being a coin flip with your own life. And here's the part that should really stop you. That flip did not only change our behavior, it changed theirs. When a predator starts killing people, people respond. Historically, the response is a hunting party that does not go home until the animal is dead. That is a brutal filter applied over and over, across continents, for thousands of years. Individuals that treated humans as ordinary prey tended not to survive long enough to pass the habit along. This is not a gene for good manners. It is simply a population where the boldest ones kept getting removed from the gene pool before they could raise many young. Then culture finishes the job. Large predators are not born knowing their menu. A lion cub learns from the pride. A wolf pup learns from the pack. A tiger cub spends months following its mother, learning what counts as food and what counts as a problem. Humans get filed under problem. That is not instinct. That is a tradition, handed down like a family recipe nobody wants to modify. Modern research has actually measured this fear, and the results are strange enough to be worth sitting with. Ecologists hide speakers along animal trails, then play different sounds and film what happens. Play frogs or wind or nothing at all, and life continues normally. Play recordings of people talking, calmly and quietly, the way you would talk to a friend on a walk. And the reaction is immediate. Mountain lions abandon fresh kills. Smaller carnivores stop feeding and flee. Entire communities of animals shift their daily schedules to avoid the hours when human voices appear. Not roaring, not gunshots, not screaming. Conversation. In one large study across an African reserve, researchers compared human speech against the sound of lions. A wide range of mammals reacted more strongly to the humans. Scientists have started calling us the super predator, an animal that kills adult prey at rates no other hunter can match. A great many species now rank our voices as the most frightening thing in the landscape. Sit with that for a moment. A predator hears two people chatting about nothing, several hundred feet away, and abandons a meal it spent all night earning. The fear is not situational, it is baseline, ambient, and always on. Everyone else in that ecosystem is still running the original code. We are the one update nobody asked for. So if we are that terrifying, why does it ever go wrong? Because a rule of averages always has edges, and the edges are where the famous stories live. In 1898, during construction of a railway bridge over the Tsavo River in Kenya, two male lions began killing workers. The story became legend, and like all legends, the death toll grew in the retelling. The original claim ran well over 100. A later analysis of chemical signatures preserved in the animal's bones and hair pointed to a far smaller number, closer to a few dozen. That gap is a useful reminder that man-eater tales grow in the dark. The more revealing detail is physical. When those lions were examined, one carried serious damage in its jaw, including a badly diseased tooth. In India, the hunter Jim Corbett tracked down a tigress in 1907 that had killed a great many people across Nepal and India. When he examined her afterward, he found her canine teeth had been shattered by an old gunshot wound. See the pattern? These were not superior hunters selecting superior prey. These were broken animals that could no longer catch anything quick. Humans became the last option, not the first. Two real exceptions deserve naming honestly. Polar bears live where food is scarce and where most individuals have never encountered a human before, so they are among the very few animals that will size up a person as a legitimate meal. Large crocodiles hunt by shape and size rather than species, from ambush, with a brain that never received the lesson and never asks a second question. Both fit the same logic perfectly. Where the deterrent was never installed, the rule never applied. That is not a counterexample. That is the rule confirming itself. Now stack the whole thing back up. We are expensive to hunt and dangerous to fail against. We do not match the template a hunting brain is scanning for. We spent 2 million years raising our own price with fire, distance weapons, and each other. We killed the individuals that tried anyway, which quietly edited entire populations. And the descendants of the survivors now teach their young that the two-legged shape is something you walk away from. Economics, biology, history, and culture all pushing the same direction. Not one shield, 5 stacked on top of each other, working while you sleep. You are not safe because you are strong. You are safe because 100,000 years of ancestors made the price unbearable. And the animals that could not learn that lesson are simply not here anymore. Maybe the bigger lesson here is not about predators at all. Reputations outlive the events that created them. What our ancestors did with sharpened sticks and firelight is still doing quiet work on our behalf. In forests we will never visit, inside animals we will never meet. You inherited a warning. You did not earn it. You cannot see it. And it walks a few steps ahead of you everywhere you go. So go back to that map. Look at every place our range crosses theirs, and notice how little happens there. Not because the teeth went away, because the story got out.